On November 12, 1963, the Beatles did an interview with Jeremy James for Day by Day. It was a brief 2.5-minute interview in which they were supposed to perform at Portsmouth's Guildhall Theatre. But Paul was very sick. He had the gastric flu. After this interview, it was said that he collapsed. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the details of the day. We're going to take a look at the full interview, and then we're going to analyze parts of the interview at the end. The local doctor, John Lennon, was called to the Guildhall Theatre after the Beatles had finished a 2.5-minute interview with Jeremy James for Day by Day. Shortly thereafter, press officer Charles Gillett announced that the show had been cancelled. Here's a quote from John Lennon of the account of that day. "I was a family doctor in Southsea, having joined my father's previously single-handed practice in 1962. On the morning of November 12th, I had been called to visit a young girl patient of mine who had had a bad attack of asthma. I think she was 12 years old or thereabouts. She had a ticket for the Beatles concert that evening, and there were floods of tears when I said that she wasn't well enough to go. Later in the day, I was told by my secretary that there had been a phone call from Guildhall requesting me to go there as soon as possible to see one of the Beatles. When I arrived, I was taken in via a back entrance and then upstairs to a room where Paul McCartney was laying down on what I think was a settee. The other members of the group were in the same room, and I remember John Lennon pacing up and down looking rather anxious. I examined Paul and prescribed some medicine. It was quite clear to me that there was no way that poor chap would be able to perform that evening, so the show was cancelled, much as I imagined, to the relief of them all. The following morning, I visited him again at the Royal Beach Hotel and found him looking and feeling much better. I remember saying that it would be okay for them to travel onward that day. I was thanked politely and then fought my way through a barrage of press reporters in the hotel lobby. I then visited the girl I had seen the previous morning. I was greeted by a beaming child who thanked me for canceling the Beatles concert and wanted to know whether the stethoscope I used to examine her was the one I had used for Paul. It was also said that John Lennon was shielding Paul from the press on their way out of the interview. Let's take a look at the interview in its entirety and then pause sections of the video where you can see Paul is physically ill and John is very concerned, as well as Ringo.
Are you beginning to find the strain of this going around the country at this tremendous speed getting you down a bit?
No, we like it, it's great.
You know us. No. You don't find it frightening, this business of being mobbed eternally and having to go through these various rigmaroles to get here?
The police get mobbed, we don't.
So it was well organised, very well organised. Tonight it was very good.
How did you get here tonight?
In a van.
How?
We were met outside the city and brought in by a van and sort of just unloaded at the loading bay.
Is that the way you're going to go working?
I don't know, they just fix it up and send us out.
They'll arrange that, you know, just before the end of the show, how we're going to go down, you know,
See which is the best way.
You're getting so much publicity nowadays, from even the egghead papers are writing about you. Are you beginning to get a little bit worried that possibly you might be going over the top fairly soon?
No, you know, when you got to go, you got to go.
What are you going to do when your time comes?
sail on the yacht.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we don't know. We haven't got any definite ideas what we're all going to do.
Into college?
Yeah, it's my school scarf. Borstal High.
To protect your throat?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. I always talk like this.
You're not thinking of giving up the big beat stuff and going in for some harmony singing? Because one or two people said you're very good harmony.
Well, we do have those. There's harmony in the big beat, just like to have a beat as well. All our records have had some kind of harmony on them.
I noticed in the Royal show that you did one ballad number. Is this something you're going to do more of?
Well, we've been singing it for about 5 years, and we've always done numbers like that, just that we're known for faster numbers.
Do you like the ballads?
If they're good. Yeah, there's good ballads and good beats.
How did you...
yeah.
How did you enjoy the variety show?
It was great. Fabulous. It was very good. Yeah, you know, the audience was much better than we expected.
Much taller.
Yeah.
Did they rattle the arms for you?
I think they did, a few of them.
As you can see in this part of the interview, John Lennon is looking very concerned at Paul. He's almost just keeping an eye on him, checking on him. He's trying to see and gauge if he's okay. Paul, you could tell during the interview, is not his PR self. He's just off. He's looking down a lot. He's looking up a lot. He just is not focused. In this part, you could see Paul turns his head away. He's trying to engage, but he's really struggling. He gives a little sigh right here, and you could tell he is just miserable. In this part of the video, he stays really silent. He's really struggling to hold on, and you could see he's zoning out.
If they're good, there's good ballads and good beats.
And then here, he kind of breaks out of it, and John looks over and just checks on him, but now he's really turning his head and just trying to make eye contact for him to engage, to give him a sign that he's pulling through, but he's barely hanging on. Take a look at this same clip. You'll hear Ringo say Paul, because he's concerned just as well as John is. So if you enjoyed today's video, please consider giving me a like, and if you want to go even further, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.